Hey everyone, welcome to another Seke broadcast. I didn't think I'd be saying this soon, but yeah, so I'll just get right into it, tell a little bit of backstory, and then I have something amazing that I want to read for you guys, or at least I think it's pretty amazing on my part, and the whole story that goes with it. So, as you guys may know, I play a lot of DayZ. I've always played a lot of DayZ. And I've been trying to get back into the DayZ game, and I've just never really liked the KOS community. It's just shitty. Like, the bandit community back in the old days was awesome. So a lot of servers and things have been made to create a non-KOS zone, which then in turn isn't very administrated on. It isn't really ruled over. And so I just think that we aren't really holding the forefront, guys. This isn't really a good game anymore. DayZ is a zombie survival apocalypse game. It's not a zombie PvP game. This isn't H1Z1. This isn't King of the Kill. This is DayZ. I know there's a lot of different arguments there, and trust me, I understand every single one of them, unless they're ones I haven't heard before, because then I wouldn't be able to understand them, would I? But guys, I don't know. But I'm trying to join a really obvious DayZRP.com. It's an awesome, only whitelisted server. You have to go through a massive and just a long whitelist program to actually be able to even get the ability to join the server, things like that. So guys, I am going to be reading my background story. I'm not sure if this is against the rules. I did read the rules about 4 or 5 times. But yeah, so just gonna be reading that. But first off, guys, I actually did fail getting the passphrases. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you want to play really great DayZ server, go ahead and try and go join. You'll understand what I'm saying afterwards. But yeah, I couldn't find the passphrases for either of the forums, and it was just killing me. I ended up posting to the general forum, and I was like, guys, this is killing my self-esteem. Like, I mean, truthfully, like, not to sound like a bitch or a quitter or anything, but I read the rules 3 times. I read the beginner's guide 5 times because it's a lot shorter, so I was able to read it a couple more times. But I could not find the passphrase, and it was a little confusing, and I think that's mainly the reason I couldn't find it. It wasn't really my fault, but at the same time it kind of was, and it wasn't the site's fault, but at the same time it kind of was. So, you know, things just weren't explained properly, and with the lock on people not being able to help you, that being a rule in and of itself, people are afraid to actually try and help people. So, I mean, you can only really get help from administrators and people like that. So, yeah, I mean, again, this is a very amazing site. I've seen a lot of videos on it. There's some amazing footage coming out of this place, and I just really want to join the RP community because, you know, killing is very, very frowned upon. But again, it is a zombie apocalypse, and there's a lot of stuff there. If you've ever watched any zombie style films or TV shows, Walking Dead being one of the biggest, if not the biggest, you'd understand that people kill people. It's not only zombies that end up dying or people getting killed by zombies. That's not the only conflict that happens. You have a lot of different things. You have the environment, shelter, food, drink, like clothing, even for some people, is just a big thing. You can't survive without basic supplies, and again, then you have to fight off like werewolves and zombies, and it's just not werewolves. Oh my god, I can't believe I said fucking werewolves. Jesus Christ, wolves. I was watching a video earlier, but whatever. So yeah, I mean, that's like my 3-4 minute rant at the beginning. Just, you know, amazing site if you guys want to try and join. If you play DayZ, if you have a good computer and you're into RP and you aren't a douchebag fucking KOSer, then try and join the site. And you have to write a 1,000 character minimum background story. I actually misread it as 1,000 words. So I really got creative, and just rereading through most of it, I was really surprised at how well I wrote this with only a little bit of backstory in mind, because I thought I'd only have to describe my character like very briefly, which actually turns out would be very true. But I ended up kind of going a little overboard and even had more that I wanted to write, and I couldn't because I hit the character limit. So yeah, but I'm gonna just be reading that, guys. It is a little kind of screwy because I technically was supposed to do it in first person, but I didn't really understand how to do that without telling the story that I had in my head properly and actually letting it flow out naturally. So this is gonna read almost like a novel. I mean, not like fucking like multiple pages, trust me, it's only like 4 or 5 paragraphs. but I'm going to be reading that. It's probably going to take me a couple minutes. But here we go, guys. Background story of Seke leader for DayZRP whitelist. Harold Finch is a member of the United States Marines. He entered Chinaris due to his future wife, Selva, being in the country during the outbreak. He uses training to enter through the forest, past the checkpoints, and out of the sight of the guards. He ended up running for days trying to get to the west side of the country and stopping on a mountain that he knew of from speaking with his love that held an old castle named Devil's Castle. Here he rested for a while and thought about the stories he had heard of what was going on here. He had not come into contact with a single person or infected, quotes, as he heard them being labeled. Just as he was trying to think of what they might look like, a person stumbled into the camp's light from the wall. He quickly drew his knife, noticing the person was unarmed. When he was looking them over, he noticed a large pool of blood flowing behind them, and he spoke out. "Are you hurt? I can help bandage you if you need me to. I've been trained in combat medicine." The person threw themselves forward, and he lunged his blade up and into their chest. They fell to the ground with a thud. He started to look them over now that their face was showing in the light of the campfire. Holy hell, what is wrong with her face? And her teeth. The person with long hair, now noticeable by the clothing she wore and her lipstick just barely showing after having long been worn, was his wife-to-be, Selva. He sat there, knelt by her side, and one knee holding back his tears. He noticed a piece of paper in her front pant pocket. He reached for it, to have her jump to life and reach for his chest. They wrestled for a while, and still being love-stricken towards Sylvia, he tried not to kill her, but to reach for his bag by the fire. He knew there was a piece of rope in there that he could use to tie her up. He couldn't get free. Thinking of the things he had heard people saying about how they were mindless beasts with dead brains, he finally acted on the danger before him and plunged his knife up into her jaw, penetrating her skin and cutting into her brain. She fell silent once more onto the ground, but this time he felt it was over. For the next few hours he sat there, knife still in hand and her body just laying limp, one arm under her torso, her face planted into the soil beneath her. He couldn't see her face, but he knew it was her deep down. He still stared in disbelief. Once the sun had started to peek up over the horizon, it started to rain. He knew he needed to get out of the rain to keep him and his gear safe. He grabbed his bag and started down the hill towards the coast. The love of his life now dead, and his way out of hell blocked off. He started to just try and stay alive by searching the coast for people and supplies. She wanted me to make friends here. Maybe I can save someone's life in all this. I have to try. He muttered to himself as he stepped out onto the road of a city he did not know. Looking around, he found a sign that he could just barely make out due to the wear on the paint. He knew that this was Gorka. In preparation to marry Selva, who he met while traveling, he learned Russian so that he could meet her parents and hold a conversation with them, hoping to impress them. His goals were clear: make Selva proud and stay alive. Stumbling into Gorka tired and hungry, he found a hospital and thought that was where he would find a survivor. As he passed the side of the building, he saw a chicken across the road and thought, man, some farmer must be pissed right now. Chuckling to himself, he realized that farmer might well be dead, and stopped in his tracks. He looked around for a second, wondering if he could find a place with some food. He called out to the hospital, "Hey, is anyone alive in there? I can help you out. I just need to know if you're there." Having no one respond gave him a small sense of relief that he would not need to share any food that he did find. Walking up the road, he found a small house that he thought looked untouched. He opened the door, knowing that no one was home. Searching the whole building, all he could find was a small .22 rifle and a can of beans. He used his knife to pry open the beans and rested the gun in his lap while he sat at the table by the windows. Shaking one mouthful out, he looked down out the window, past the house, across the street, and noticed a man running through the field. He jumped up and started down towards him. "Hey!" he yelled out. The man dropped to the ground and threw his hands in the air for a moment, finally resting them onto the top of his head. "I don't want any trouble, and your friends back there already robbed me of everything I had. I'm sorry I ran away. I won't do it again." The man looked like he was trembling violently with a cold. "You can calm down. I'm not with those guys, and I am not going to hurt you." Harold reached down with an open palm to help him up. As the man was coming to his feet, Harold handed him the beans and started towards the house he was sitting in. Looking back briefly to make sure he was behind him, Harold asked, "So you say you got robbed in broad daylight?" The man responded with a confused look. "Yes, but this is a usual thing with the many people here that have started ganging up on us lesser folks with no one to help us. Harold stopped just on the side of the road and turned completely around. You mean to tell me that there are people just robbing others like it was the Old West or the 1200s? Yes, they are feeding off of our scavenging and killing anyone who tries to disobey their requests. Harold looked visibly angry, and he started down the road and looked back. Show me where they are. After a few moments of walking, the man pointed back towards the other side of the warehouse, down the road. They have a camp down that way in the tree line. Harold looked at him with a stern face and held his shoulder. Stay at the hospital and lock yourself in a room until I get back. Wandering off to the east, Harold planned to enter the camp at night and ambush the robbers while they were least expecting it. Nightfall came, and Harold was outside the light wall created by the campfires they had going. He could count 5 or 6, but he knew that there were others there. After 10 minutes, he came up behind one, leaning on a tree, and slit his throat, pulling him into the darkness. 4 more. He whispered to himself as he positioned up, stabbing. As he positioned up. What the fuck? Okay, sorry. Got lost in a indent. As he positioned up behind a tent by the tree line. He knew there were probably more in the tent than the one that he saw walk in earlier, but he didn't care. He ran in to get them by surprise and tackled the first person he saw, stabbing him in the process. Looking up and around, he noticed 3 others all on cots, but only one was getting up. He quickly lunged towards the man, grabbing his rifle by the mesh window. Slicing the man's face and then his neck, he grabbed his mouth to keep him from alerting the others while bleeding out. He quickly did the same to the other 2 in the tent. Grabbing the rifle, now certain that only 3 remained, he ran out and hit the first walking towards the tent with 3 to the chest. Checking the mag while running, he went towards the fire's light. The first blurred image to show up, he fired at, but it ended up being a tree's trunk. When the area had become visible, he leaped towards the tree and landed with his back to the bark. He leaned left, shooting 2 rounds at the man as just cocking his shotgun. Leaning right, he noticed the man on the ground, aiming up at him. He ducked back and yelled out, "All your friends are dead. Give up and I'll let you live." A volley of shots rang out and flew past him, only a few hitting the tree's bark. He leapt out, took a few shots in the direction of the man. Behind another tree, just in the wall of light, he leaned out to see the man bleeding out, a gash open in his chest. Harold returned to the hospital to find the man he had met before. They won't be here anymore, and you can go get their gear and supplies for yourself. Now, I was gonna write more, but that's kind of the end, guys. That actually took me about, 7 minutes to read. Holy shit. Actually happy with that. But yeah, guys, I mean, a little bit of it was, you kind of heard me stutter, fucking Jesus, I'm tired. Stutter a couple times, because actually some of the words were misspelt and other things because I have big hands, as most of you know. But yeah, guys, that is my background story on the DayZRP whitelist server, and I have already posted this, I want to say about 2.5 hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago, and well, actually, probably almost 4 hours ago now. I'm looking at it, it's 1:45 a.m. And I'm probably going to be going to sleep soon. Hopefully in the morning, I'm going to check up and see if it has been accepted or rejected, because you do actually have 6 steps to the process. Again, guys, I don't want to go over all of it. I don't even know if I'll be allowed to. I have mentioned that I have a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel, so I probably can't help you guys much with the application process or explain too much about it without probably bending a rule or 2. I don't think I'd be breaking any, but I don't want to get in trouble before I even start. Thanks, guys. This has been a second broadcast for you truly, Jason Manning, aka Second Leader. There's going to be no outro or intro to this video. Just want to start it up, make everything fluid, and a lot of stutters in there, of course. 14 minutes now on the clock. Have a great rest of your fucking day, night, morning, whatever time it is. Have a great rest of it on me. I'll see you guys in the next video.